Hey everyone, this is the Legends podcast, and today with our producer Veselin Vълчев, we are lucky and honored to have with us Miss Stella Escobedo from OAN American News, the star host of OAN American News Daily Show. So welcome to our show and thank you very much for your time. It's an honor.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I can't wait, to talk about the things we want to talk about.
Let's start with you first. Who is Stella Escobedo and why journalism?
Okay, so I am a Soviet Jewish refugee, actually born in Uzbekistan, speak fluent Russian, came to the United States. Хорошо, да. Говорю и понимаю. So, came to the United States, grew up in LA, always been like, somebody who asks a lot of questions, is inquisitive. And, my friends used to make fun of me. They're like, you should be an FBI agent. You should be a CIA agent. I'm like, I don't know. And so I went into journalism. I also went into journalism because, in the Soviet Union, I heard a lot of stories about, communism, pravda, right, which was anything but pravda.
The newspaper, yeah.
Yep, and got into journalism, and here I am. And I spent many years in mainstream media in America, working for, CBS, ABC, different networks. And then, journalism just became propaganda. And I found myself in a position where I said, my goodness, I have a voice and I'm going to use my voice, and I don't have to be in mainstream media to tell the truth. And I'm at OAN American News, where I've been able to tell stories of people that, mainstream media would not cover or touch.
The division and the distinction between the so-called legacy media and the, I don't know, how should we call it, new generation or independent, or I don't know, let's talk about the new generation. The division and the distinction is getting more and more, from times to times, even violent. People are getting quite offensive on both sides. What's making OAN American News not a legacy media, and why should people trust you and your network instead of all the others that we quite often joke about, let's say?
Well, because we have journalists like myself who, I don't know if it matters, whatever, Emmy award-winning journalists. There's other journalists in our newsroom who spent decades, right, in journalism, in newsrooms. We know ethics. We know what real journalism is. It's just that legacy media doesn't allow a voice that they don't agree with. So it's like they are the arbitrators of what the truth is. And how did you decide what the truth is? I mean, when we went to journalism school, we were told report both sides and let the viewers decide. And now it's like the viewers have access to social media. The viewers, a lot of people, I believe, this is why President Donald Trump won, is because, the legacy media is trying to feed you whatever, like the economy is great, but you go to the supermarket and you see that it's not great. You go to fill up gas and you realize it's costing me a lot of money. Illegal immigration, people are being killed by illegals in this country, but mainstream media doesn't want to cover it. Yet the average person starts to see and say, well, don't believe your lying eyes. In essence, like you're trying to tell me like the reality isn't reality, like the sky isn't blue and it's really supposed to be purple. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So people, I think, are starting to trust legacy media less and less. And again, having access to social media, like, for instance, for myself, right? When I was, at legacy media, you're not allowed to, talk about certain things because they're checking your Instagram. They're making sure that you're not posting certain stuff. And the minute I left mainstream media, it's like the shackles were off and my social media went through the roof because I started talking about things that people actually really care about.
And you're free to do it.
And I'm free to do it. Yeah. And I'm free to do it. I use my judgment, of course. As a journalist, I still have my ethics. It's not like I'm, some wild, crazy person who puts up whatever. I check things. I check sources. I check facts. In legacy media, they would have written me up. They would have, if I was talking about Hamas terrorists and calling them terrorists instead of militants, how legacy media wants to call them. I mean, what militants goes in and brutally savages, murders women and children and holds. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that
Yep.
they put shackles on you to not speak out. Not to say the truth.
Resistance fighters is the second favorite of mine. Resistance fighters. Yeah.
Resistance is justified. Is what they want you to believe.
What type of resistance is that? Okay,
Right.
crazy. What's the main distinction between the legacy media and the new generation one? Is it the ownership? Is it the censorship? Is it the dependence on government money? The tons of subscriptions that we've seen that were made, obviously by some unofficial order for outlets like Politico or New York Times. What's the main difference? What's the distinction between the legacy and the new generation? How can you describe it?
I think the difference between legacy media is, part of it could be, they always say follow the money, right? And corporations, holding you down from speaking the truth. I mean, DEI is really huge in mainstream media too. For instance, they would say things like, don't call people homeless, call them unsheltered. It's like, don't call them what they are. Okay. It's just this corporate DEI that weighs over the legacy media, and independent journalism, to be honest with you, is really taking off. It really is.
They were really forced to invent a whole new language in order to comply with the company ruals, right? Not sheltered.
And I always say that. I always say, why change the language? Change the problem. Deal with the issues. Don't call them unsheltered. They're homeless, and it's a growing problem. We have what's called a homeless industrial complex in the state of California.
Yep.
California was given millions of dollars to deal with the homeless crisis, and what happened? The homeless crisis got worse. And the problem is, if you actually solve the homeless crisis, a lot of people will be out of work.
Yeah. They're keeping their jobs instead of solving the problem.
That's exactly what, as sad as it is, that's really what's happening.
Okay. Let's start with California. So, looking to California on the outside, you see the fifth biggest economy in the world. Mm-hmm. You see the area with the highest income per capita in the US, which is the Bay Area. You see all the industries that are centralized in California, the high tech, the showbiz, and everything. You see this amazing story of success, this fairy tale. And then the fires happened. I saw the videos that you put of your parents leaving your house in the morning. I was terrified just watching it. I can't imagine what it's like to be there. And then the news starts coming. And then we, people from around the world, are starting to ring things like, the brush wasn't cleaned off. The four dams were destroyed because the fish must be able, the wild fish, to swim up and down the riverbed. The big reservoir just on top of Prolific Palisades was empty in the fire season, in the Santa Ana wind season. And then Karambas is in Ghana, because why not? Mm-hmm. And then you see Newsom openly lying to people. I just spoke to the president and they say, show me your phone. He says, I have no signal here. So, and the rest of the world were like, wait, what? What?
That's literally...
How is this happening in the most successful state within the most successful country in the world?
Well, first of all, people are taxed to death. The people who lived in these communities never thought this would happen. Literally, I've heard stories. My cousin has a home in the Palisades, which actually her home is still standing, but there's no community to go back to. And a lot of people, it happened during the day. So let's say they had their housekeeper at the house, and the housekeeper was like, hey, there's a fire. And they're like, just get out. Don't worry. Everyone thought they were going back home. Like, nobody thought this was possible, that it would ravage the community, that there wouldn't be water inside, the fire hydrants. I'm sure you saw videos of that. I mean, there were some people who stayed behind.
The hydrants were not working, and the underfunded fire people just cannot do their job. So
I mean, literally, there were no firefighters on the streets, okay?
Yep.
And it's not anything to say about the firefighters. It's the fact that I've lived in California almost my entire life, and when we know that the Santa Ana winds are going to happen, it's not like an earthquake that it just surprises you. You know days in advance that the Santa Ana winds are coming, okay? You know this. And even the media was reporting on it, like devastating Santa Ana winds are going to start happening. We knew this was going to happen. This is to your point of Karen Bass being in Ghana. You knew these winds are going to be happening. Why are you not even in your own county? Anyway, the destruction was so horrific. It could have been avoided if they at least cleaned the brush. I mean, again, I grew up in the state of California back in the day. We used to do brush the burns where they were like intentional burns, when they would just, burn the forest, burn the mountaintops and all that stuff. They don't even do that anymore. It's like these people, like, we pay so much in taxes in this state. We don't even have a government that can protect us from our homes burning, from homelessness, from illegal immigration. It has gotten out of control. I mean, seriously, out of control. It is sad. People are left speechless. And I got to be honest with you, at what point is enough enough? Because LA County is predominantly, liberal, but I think people are waking up. There are a lot of people who are saying, this is not working. And it took their homes to go up in flames, their businesses. I mean, I've interviewed people who said, okay, I lost my home and I lost my business. It would be bad enough if I lost one, but I lost both.
But at the same time, last year, because too many companies started to leave San Francisco because of the 3 strikes rule and the day-to-day robberies, and everyone is going into the stores and taking whatever they like, and they just couldn't stop them because it's not a crime. Yep. And they started leaving the city. And what the geniuses of San Francisco did is, instead of implementing laws which will prevent such things from happening and actually make the businesses stay there, they told them that there will be a fine from the state if they don't say 6 months in advance that they are about to close their store. So
but see,
what is this? What is this? And still the whole world is like, wait, what? You're fining me because I will go bankrupt?
Right? So you're talking common sense. Like, I think common sense. Like, what are you talking about? Fix the problem, right? Like, it got to the point where it's like, I don't want to go to the mall because I don't know if it's going to get, if it's going to be the day where they come in and do the smash and grabs. I mean, I've been at the store with my kids and I'm like, ooh, somebody looks suspect. I'm about to leave because the smash and grabs here in California, out of control. It's really scary out of control. And then I remember in the early days of the smash and grabs, when they just started happening, I did a video of my local grocery store, and they blocked off like one aisle where they had like doors in one aisle, and it was the doors that had like the razors, like the more important, the more expensive stuff, right? And I posted it on social media, and I was like, watch out, this is coming to a store near you. And it went viral, and people were like, stop fear-mongering, stop scaring people, none of this is going to happen. Sure enough, a lot of stores, especially in New York City as well, started locking up items because the losses were so big that you can't even go and buy a razor or toothpaste because, you got to press the button for somebody to come and give it to you because people are stealing things and they're just getting away with it.
Oh, sure, about New York, a short trip to CVS is like 25 minutes because for every small item you have to press the button and wait for the... Everything is locked. Everything is locked.
California. And I'm telling you, and I posted a video and I was like, and I was literally like, hey guys, look at what's happening here in California. And people were calling me out. They were in denial. The liberals were in denial. They're like, stop fear mongering people. I'm like, no, this is a fact. It's actually happening.
We don't know how to work with this information that is coming, which is getting more and more absurd. We don't know how to process it. all the time we are like, wait, what? So you're fining, you will impose a fine on me because I go bankrupt, because everyone is able to just come to my store and grab whatever he likes. So this is your decision? You put a fine on me because I went bankrupt? So,
right, you're going to punish the person who's actually trying to employ people.
The victim.
Brings jobs to the economy, who actually does good for the country, yet you're not going to punish the people and deal with the homeless crisis. You're not going to deal with the criminals, but you will punish the good person. I mean, literally, this is how it is. I always say this. I always say, I can't get away with a parking ticket or a speeding ticket, but people can get away with stealing, with, being here illegally, but yet they'll know where to find me if I do something wrong.
And they will.
They will.
And they will, because you're documented. They know your address. They can easily find you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about the big picture. Do you feel that you're living a democracy which is under threat, or being attacked, or being dismantled? Because this is what we read here in our mainstream media every day. The democracy is under attack. Trump did this, Trump did that. They're dissolving the old order, They're going against the Constitution. This is illegal. That is illegal.
I will have to tell you that the mainstream media is trying really hard to delegitimize Donald Trump, but I don't think this time around it's working as much as it did the first time. And really, it's a lot of it has to do with Elon Musk buying Twitter, which is X now, because the fact checkers are being fact checked really quickly, because during the first administration, things were all the time taken out of context. They would take one clip and it was just one side, and they would say Donald Trump said this, he's a racist, he's this, a democracy is under attack. And there was no outlet for people like us. Yes, you had One America News, but not everybody's watching One America News. So now on X, things get shut down like that, like false information. People get the videos up right away. So I think the Democrats are panicking. It's like a little kid who's having a tantrum because they just can't win. I mean, look at what's happening with U.S. aid. All of the spending. I mean, Elon Musk is going in there and he's being as transparent as possible. He's posting tweets like crazy about what's happening. And I think this is what the Americans wanted. And let me remind you again, Donald Trump didn't just win. It was a decisive win. I mean, we thought we weren't going to have the election results, maybe for a couple of weeks. No, we knew that night. It was that decisive. I think Americans, we needed that 4 years of just complete destruction for people to be like, we don't want another 4 years of this. And we just don't. And Kamala Harris on the campaign trail, I mean, she couldn't even answer, you're running for president. She couldn't even answer why she was running for president. I mean, she couldn't just get that portion memorized. It was that ridiculous. And I think the majority of Americans started to get it.
Is this something that what's your take on something that we are thinking about, which is, imagine how crazy the world went when getting back to normal looks like a revolution.
It's a lot. That's why Donald Trump is, working at warp speed. I mean, if he's
but it looks like a revolution, isn't it?
I mean, right now, he's just undoing a lot of what's been done. But I mean, with his executive orders, I mean, he's only been in office, what date is it? We're in February, right? It's been a couple weeks.
20 days or something,
Yeah, and if you think about it, at this pace, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good in 4 years. I'm telling you, I'm a journalist and I can't keep up with it. I mean, I have my friends calling me, did you see this? Did you see that? It's like, oh, did I miss the last 5 minutes? Well, what else did he do today? I mean, there's a lot of issues going on. I'm not, with, let's say, Elon Musk trying to, sort out what's happening with U.S. aid. And then there's liberal judges who are jumping in saying you can't have access to these documents. So, so then the administration has to, sue back. And, there's going to be that back and forth. But I think this time Donald Trump does not care. He does not care. He has made a lot of promises and he is making good on all his promises. He really is. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. It's incredible. We are so lucky. We really are so lucky to have him as our president.
So you're one of those people who are not willing to give their taxpayer dollars for irrigation of the poppy fields of the Taliban, right?
No, I'm really.
Oh,
I'm really
really?
not
Oh,
interested
really?
in giving my money to Hamas or for DEI, shows somewhere that doesn't. No, and honestly, to be honest with you, it makes me really angry. Again, we live in a state that is really expensive, and the only reason why we don't leave the state of California is because I grew up here, my family's here, and it's like, if we don't stay here, who's going to fight for this state, right? And then on top of that, our federal taxes are so high. Yeah, I don't want my money going to things that don't matter. As a matter of fact, give me my money back.
I'm not sure we will, because last year you paid for the gay pride in Bulgaria as well. So thank you very much.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Did
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, you're very nice people. Yeah.
You're really nice people.
You are.
Meanwhile, Americans are struggling here, living day to day. Like I said, things are, eggs, gas, you name it. Rent is out of control. Buying a home, forget about it.
You paid for an LGBTQ movie festival last year in Bulgaria. You paid for the Pride, and then you paid for some initiatives. But don't worry, you basically are paying for the Prides all over Eastern and Central Europe. Yeah. So it's not only us. I'm not sure we are giving your money back, but look, it's not only us. So, ours is only a small portion.
I think we paid for the creation of a Sesame Street in Iraq or something like that.
Yep.
It's literally it's outrageous. I can't keep up with the madness. And I think the more that this is exposed, the American people are saying enough. Like in New York City, right? The minority communities, the Black communities, they even have come out on the streets and be like, get rid of these illegal immigrants who are literally taking our money. Like, they're being put up in hotels. They're being fed. They're being given everything. Meanwhile, why isn't this money going to our people, our Americans, our communities?
I really don't know, because we found out just yesterday that 90 more millions from FEMA went to New York hotels for the accommodation of illegals. So I really don't know. I had a student just a few months ago, and basically we are supposed to propose some policies and decisions. And she said what her problem is. She was living in a small town in California. Her problem is that just buses come over to the city, to the town center, and they're just dropping people there and leaving. And she said, we really don't know what to do, because our budget is small. We are a small town. We don't have houses. We don't have hospitals. We don't have kindergarten, schools, nothing. We really don't know what to do, and they're just coming and dropping the people and leaving.
Well, and here's the thing is, when you have that happening at a large scale, the resources, the breakdown of resources starts affecting the local community. It really does. Like, the programs that are needed for local people, let's say like mental health or whatever, the communities, they start running out of money. So things have to start being slashed. So then Americans suffer at the end of the day when this happens. It really is. And it's honestly, I've been saying this for years. A country without a border is not a country. I know there's a lot of Americans here who are like, well, we are a nation of immigrants. Yeah, immigrants, legal
ones. Yeah, legal ones.
We came here legally. It wasn't easy and it wasn't fast. And I know, if anything, we need to fix the immigration process, but legally. We cannot, first of all, I can't go into any country right now and be like, hello, hi, everybody, I'm here.
You can try. You can try.
No one's going to do that for me. Like, come on, guys.
Try China, try Saudi Arabia, try it.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Nice.
Does it? Yeah, but at the same time, Selena Gomez starts crying, and people are starting calling people like you racists and fascists and chauvinists because you just.
Attacked. I was attacked on my own social media by somebody I have known for many years, who literally was like, "Come on, Stella, these are humans." Oh no, it was a video actually. So first of all, the Selena Gomez thing, she kept the video for like 15, 20 minutes, and then she removed it because I saw it right away, because the backlash, it was ridiculous.
Enough for me to write my article. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like, first of all, like, they're going after the criminals. So I had so this woman I know, she messaged me and she was like, because Donald Trump had said, we are opening opening up Guantanamo Bay for the criminals. And so then somebody wrote me back and was like, gosh, Stella, these are humans. And I'm like, well, I'm really happy you have a place in your heart for criminals. Like, what about the mothers who lost their children to these criminals who raped and murdered their daughters? They see, that's the problem with mainstream media. Mainstream media could raise awareness if they wanted to, just like they blow up other stories. If they really had moral clarity, this is what it really comes down to. If they really had moral clarity, they would do these stories of these young girls, 12-year-old girls, college students who were murdered while on a run, while going for a walk. Why are we okay with that? Why are we protecting the criminals?
The liberals will say, because you are a proud American, you are living the dream, and you have no solidarity with these people, you cannot understand them. But I'm just asking another question for people who are thinking so dearly of the Mexicans. What about the 300,000 Mexican mothers which children are missing inside the U.S.? Nobody knows where they are.
Well,
250,000 to 300 children are missing inside the U.S., trafficked to somewhere, God knows where. So what about their mothers? They're Mexicans, so right? Do we care about them? Or?
Right. They're not just Mexican.
South American, okay.
They're South American. Okay. They're coming from all over. Okay. And to your point, you're absolutely right. The liberals always talk about orderly and humane. There is nothing orderly and humane about human trafficking, the rape trees, the rape gangs who rape these women and children that come. It is a thing. It is something that happens. And I am so ashamed. You have all these humanitarians who pretend to be humanitarians, especially in the mainstream media. You should be calling out what's happening. This is a crisis. There's nothing orderly and humane about human smuggling and women and children being raped. And you know what, within the first week, maybe, I think, of this administration, I think they said they found like 60 or 70,000 of these children.
Hope so. I surely hope so, because 300,000 children missing within the borders of the US, it's completely crazy, you know, it's unbelievable.
It's completely unacceptable. And you know what else is unacceptable is the fact that our, zombie president, who was embarrassing, such embarrassment on the world stage, to have this man who was shaking hands with the air, didn't know where he was, to basically say it was out of his power basically to close down the border. And look, President Trump comes into office and he does it right away on day one. You know what happened? The minute during the inauguration, within hours, we have the CBP app. That was like the CBP One app that you could actually app yourself into the United States of America. Like, you just register and then you cross the border. They shut it down like that. It was shut down day one.
Why
to this country?
Okay, but I feel kind of stupid now, because why did I go to the embassy and applied for visa and went to the interview and went to a background check?
I don't know why.
I should just come and register with the app, right?
I mean, literally, that's what they would do. And these, the only people who are winning in all of this is the cartels. The cartels were trained. The NGOs are training people. These are, the organizations who are getting funding from the federal government. They're training these people how to do things. And the cartels were being paid to smuggle people and telling them, all you have to do is X, Y, and Z, just go. I mean, literally, the border's open. We have an area near here where I live. It's called Hakamba. And people were walking through on a daily basis, hundreds of people. Where are these people? Who are these people? They were coming from everywhere. Terrorists. Where are they?
Okay, from time to time, it's really difficult to comprehend it all, because it's too much. It's
really too much. You're right.
Even for us, because we were kind of part of the Balkan route of the Syrian refugees in 2014. We've seen some of this stuff, some of it, but not at the scale that you are talking about, and not through multiple states who have borders with Mexico. So we're talking about millions of people. So it's.
I have to ask you, what was the perception of America on the world stage? I mean, I kind of understand, I guess, and I know, but I mean, was it as embarrassing for all of you guys as it was for us?
Okay, let me tell you. I can give you two very good examples. So, late 90s, President Clinton is coming to Bulgaria. The first time an acting American president is coming to Bulgaria. hundreds of thousands of people went on the street to greet him. It was like a national holiday in Sofia. You know, all of the streets were full of people, and hundreds of thousands gathered in the city center to greet him and the Bulgarian president back then, Petar Stoyanov, a very well respected, a democratic president. And, you know, it was all love and respect and, trying to get the best of what you're doing, you know, and trying to be like you in the best possible sense. Last year, at the end of Biden's term, there was a polling done here from Gallup, and the disapproval of American policy was like 69%. So I believe that gives you the answer.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Biden came and 0 people showed up.
He didn't. I don't know. Okay, let's not ask too much of the guy. So because I'm not quite sure he knows where Eastern Europe is after all. So okay, leave him alone. But poor guy. Yeah, that's about the perception. So okay, let's talk about America on the outside. Just for 2 weeks, you have Colombia, you have Canada, you have Mexico, and they're all caved, and they say, okay, Venezuela, okay, we are letting your hostages go, and we will take our criminals back with our planes, for which we will pay for. Same with Colombia. Mexico sent 10,000 troops to the border. Canada said that they will reinforce the border police. Basically, everyone is caving. And then, once again, you have the two teams. On one side, you have the MAGA movement, which are all, you know, go Trump, this is how you do it, okay. This one caves, that one caves, and let's go get him. And, you know, all the MAGA cheering. And then you have the other side, the lefties, the legacy media, and everyone is saying, oh, this is not how you do diplomacy. This is destroying the world order. You cannot just bang your fist on the table all the time. What's this? This is not diplomacy. This is not democracy. This is not mutual respect. What's the guy doing? This is again all the rules. So where are we? Where are we? No, nobody argues that it's working. They're just saying this is not how you're supposed to do it. And okay,
this is why I tell you that the left is freaking out, because it's actually working, and they don't know. I mean, look, they're freaking out because they don't know what to say. Because even though, like, I turn on legacy media just to see what they'll say, and they'll say Mexico is cooperating for now. Canada is cooperating for now.
Yeah, for the month, but we'll see in a month.
Like it will hurt them too much to say it's working. Or they'll say things like, instead of saying like, oh my gosh, Elon Musk has discovered like all this, you know, corruption, they'll say Elon Musk is accessing our computer systems and he has your information. Okay, well, I don't think he's doing anything with my information. I think what he's first of all, he only has access only, like accountant only access to information. So it's like these two different like realities, right? One is like reality of what's really happening and it's working, and the other one is trying to gaslight really badly and it's just not working.
But yeah, but you can't deny that the doxing actually created one of the funniest story ever, because it's not just Elon Musk's, it's Elon Musk and Big Boss. Yeah. Yeah,
I was like, what is that?
What is that? Go Big Boss.
Yeah. Like,
Big Boss is back.
Big Balls is back.
Yeah, he's reinstated, so good for him. Go Big Balls. Yeah.
I thought Big Balls was gonna make, you know, airways on Super Bowl. We were like having like a guessing game with our friends. Do you think Elon Musk is really gonna, you know? There was like a rumor going around that Elon Musk bought $40 million in ads, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. Like, why does he really need to do that when he has X and he's literally posting everything on X? Like, why is he gonna spend $40 million?
Last topic.
Okay.
Israel, Hamas, and Trump's proposal for Gaza.
Yeah.
So what's your stance on that? And is it just a provocative behavior, or he's just taking the role of a disruptor and making the other countries finally make some move in order to get a sustainable decision for this extremely problematic small piece of land?
I'll tell you something. It's definitely an out of the box, right?
It is.
It is completely out of the box, but it's something different. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different reaction. The Gazans are indoctrinated to the max. They do not even want a two-state solution. I don't even know why that idea was ever pushed, because they've had so many chances in the 1930s, in the 1960s. I mean, in 2000, in 2005, Israel was like, here's Gaza. We're going to pull our people out so you guys live in peace. And then John Kerry tried, to negotiate with them. And basically, Abbas walked away, not Abbas, Yasser Arafat walked away twice, each time the first intifada, the second intifada. There was a time that they were going to be given East Jerusalem. It was basically the negotiation of a lifetime. They could have had a state if they really wanted to. It's not about the state. They hate the Jewish people. They want the land. This is why they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. So Donald Trump comes in and he goes, look, this is the out of the box idea. Could he be posturing and basically saying to the other Arab states, like, if you don't do something, we will? Could be. I mean, again, it's something so out there, so out of the box. But then again, it's like, what other way can we have peace? Because these people are so indoctrinated in what? We're going to just rebuild Gaza for them so that they can once again install terrorists? Because that's all that keeps happening is, and by the way, we still have hostages. I mean, you saw the last 3 hostages released. They look like they came out of the Holocaust. Imagine they're 70s.
They definitely look like Auschwitz survivors. Yep.
100% look like Auschwitz survivors. And it's like, what people want to live with their neighbors who hate you so much that they want to destroy you, they want to murder you, they want to kill you. That's what they want to do. Maybe there's some innocent Palestinians there, but they're not given a fair chance. They're indoctrinated. These 5-year-old kids that you see today, those are future Hamas terrorists.
First of all, if you are a freedom fighter, and if you are a proud freedom fighter for the rightful, right of your people to live there and to exist there, why the mask? If you are a freedom fighter, why the mask? Aren't you the official authority there? If you are official authority and you are a freedom fighter, why the mask? So why the tunnels? Why the launch pads?
Like
why the missiles?
Exactly.
Okay. Why is your leadership spending their billions in Qatar, for yachts and penthouses, and your people are literally starving there? Where's all the aid given there through the years?
See, here's the thing: is there's people in Gaza who want to leave. They just weren't allowed to leave because guess what? They're human shields. That's what they are for Hamas. They're human shields. They want their people to die for their cause. That's what it is. This is who they are. And you're right, they are rats. They literally, and they're not real militants. They're not real soldiers because they don't fight in uniform. They fight in regular clothes. And that's the thing when I go to mainstream media. The mainstream media has done such a horrible job at exposing who Hamas is, that even the Associated Press, which is considered the gold standard of news, said, we're going to call them militants. Do you know what that did? You know what that did? Yep. It's about like consistency. If you tell somebody every day, Hamas terrorists, Hamas terrorists, Hamas terrorists, you've just told the nation that these are terrorists. But when you're telling people Hamas militants, Hamas militants, Hamas militants, you've now told the nation that these are not terrorists. These are freedom fighters. So we have a whole nation. There's people in this country who don't know that there are American hostages in Gaza. Still. They have no idea.
To this day.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay, I just posted a story to my Instagram because I've been watching the mainstream media coverage of, the hostages. And it's like, the headline should read, tortured, starved, Holocaust-like, looking like, hostages released. I mean, the soft headlines, hostages released. And then I just read an article from ABC where they drew a parallel. They drew a parallel between the Palestinian terrorists who were released and literally the hostages who are starving. They're like, one terrorist looked frail and he needed a wheelchair when getting off a bus. I'm like, are you Are you serious right now? You're drawing a parallel between innocent people who are literally starved and tortured and a terrorist who was convicted sitting there in a prison. I'm so appalled and embarrassed to say that I have been part of mainstream media. I really am.
At the same time, in the mainstream media, in the debates where funny thing is that there are some anti-Semites with Israeli origins, like Finkelstein or something, which I'm really ashamed to listen to. All the time they were talking about two-state solution. How can there be a two-state solution when you have three states? You have Israel, you have the West Bank governed by Fatah, and you have the Gaza Strip governed by Hamas, who will kill everyone from Fatah the moment they see him. So you have three states. Why was everybody talking the last year and a half since October the 7th and before that as well for the two-state solution? Those are three states, and obviously Gaza cannot fit the equation, can it?
But two-state, three-state, four-state, they don't even want it. It doesn't even matter, because every time the Israel and leadership, American leadership, has come to the table and said, let's do this, Israel has always been willing to and said yes. It's always been the people of Gaza who walk away. It really has always been. I mean, listen, in 2020, Donald Trump, before it was the Abraham Accords, they had a deal on the table to basically give Gaza $50 billion to rebuild, to give them the Riviera, right? The Riviera of the Middle East. They said, no, wait. They walked away. They're like, no, we don't even want this. It's never been about the two-state. I've always said, like, why are we even having this conversation? They don't even want it. They don't want it, because if they wanted it, they would have had it by now.
And they definitely have the money to do it, seeing the lifestyle of their leadership and how much billions were stolen from their own people. So they definitely had the money to do it if they had the wish to do it. Maybe it's obvious that Hamas is profiteering from the conflict, and that's their way of making money, basically.
Speaking, I want to leave you with this. In 2016, U.S. aid gave Gaza, I think it was $300 million to a cement company. What do you think that money was used for? It was used to build their tunnels.
The tunnels, yep.
Okay? And Israel just came out with there's a guy in Israel who is like a hacker, and he has access to intelligence, like to phone conversations. After October 7th, in December, okay, he heard conversations about Hamas was starting to feel squeezed because of the humanitarian aid wasn't coming in at the time, right? And they were basically ready to give up the hostages, and they were like, okay, we're not getting food, we're not getting water, we don't have enough energy, all this stuff. And they were, we were this close, and they were ready to give up the hostages. This was in December. And what happened? The international community, along with America, changed that like this by doing what? Opening up the humanitarian envoys, and everything started coming in. And for people to understand how this works, the humanitarian aid isn't just aid that's given to the Palestinian people. Hamas takes the humanitarian aid and they sell it. So it was a lifeline. A lifeline was given to them. They're constantly given a lifeline to continue to live and breathe.
They started shooting at the people who are trying to get some food from the trucks and then blamed the Israelis for it.
Constantly. We saw those videos like on a daily basis. Again, mainstream media couldn't bring themselves to report the truth. And I was doing that on my social media, and then my social media was getting shadow banned. And so I know Mark Zuckerberg is back in business, and he's all of a sudden like, oh, free speech, blah, blah, blah.
Let's see. Blah. He's on the bright side now. Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
Like, get out of here. You said all of us. I don't think the conservative movement should be trusting it. But I understand our president. He's always, 10 steps ahead. So he's going to do what he's going to do.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Gosh, where do I see myself in 10 years? I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I love what I do now. If I can continue to expose, be a voice for the voiceless, which is really weird, right? It's like I've never considered like, you know, conservatives or Jews, you know, like the voice of the voiceless, but really that's where we are. But I haven't thought about that. That's a really good question. I'm going to go to bed tonight thinking about where do I see myself in 2 years?
Okay, you answer us next time.
I never get stumped, so that was a good one.
Okay, you will answer us next time.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Hope it to be soon. Thank you once again. Thank you for your time.
You.
We send our best to you, to California, to all the people in OAN. And see you soon. All the best.
Until next time. Thank you.
Yep.